Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing today? We're back, and I have a wonderful guest, uh, and Miss Sarah, I believe. Trope, is that
Tr
how you say Troop? Troop?
it's trop like drop. Like I
Trop,
dropped
trop.
it, but it's trop it. Yeah.
I, I love it. Sarah's wonderful interior decorator, designer. She creates peaceful sanctuaries, and she is an award-winning interior designer. HGTV is amazing, and she does all kinds of wonderful things. She's a flea market flip winner, and she's also founder of FunCycled, I think,
Yep.
and also she does a lot of work with trauma. And I'll let her go into that because I'll probably not do it justice. And she's got some really wonderful ways of designing, and I think you'll enjoy what she has to say. Sarah, how you doing? Welcome.
Good. Thank you for having me on, Christopher. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to get to know you a little bit more too. But thankful for the opportunity to be here and talk about all of these topics that are important to me. So thank you.
You're welcome. Well, let's just get started. How did you get involved with not just being an interior designer, but an interior designer that focus on this peaceful sanctuaries piece?
Yeah, so when I started FunCycled 13 years ago now, I really just did furniture repurposing, and I had a blog about how we redid it, how I redid the pieces, and then I started delivering furniture. My husband started working with me. We started painting kitchen cabinets, and then we were on Survive or HGTV Flea Market Flip, actually, is what we were on, and then from there, when we won that show, we had a storefront in our little town called Troy, New York. And it was after many years of people saying, "Will you design my space?" that I finally said yes. And I started doing interior design about 8 years ago, I would say, maybe. Um, and then over the years, different experiences had led me to a non-for-profit that specialized in helping women coming out of trafficked situations, actually. And I was really excited to partner with them. I did that project pro bono, and what we did was create what I call trauma-informed designs, what people call trauma-informed design. So, how do we create spaces for victims of trafficking that can help encourage their emotional calm, um, give them space to kind of reset and also feel dignified within the space. And that idea of dignified designs or trauma-informed designs, they're a little different, but I would say with dignified designs, it's more how do we make people or help people who are in vulnerable situations feel dignified within the space that we're trying to help them, right? And so that kind of is what stepped me into working on a homeless shelter recently and doing the main entryway and sitting room of that space. And even though they are separate thought processes a little bit, they kind of intertwine in the design and trauma-informed space as well. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Oh my brain is going 1,000 miles a second. So let's just see. How do we go into this? Now, I like the create calm piece. I love that. And
Yeah.
love the reset piece. Uh, how would you go into explaining how does an environment that you create calm and allow you to reset?
I think there's a couple answers to that. Usually there's not a quick one thing gives you the answer, but what I would say there a couple layers deep was one, if you're not in the trauma informed space and you're just in your own house and not really dealing with a lot of trauma, I say I tell our clients, go to different places and actually see how you feel within those places and take time to actually learn what resets you, what makes you calm. Because for everyone, it's different, right? Like some clients really love bright colors. And even though bright colors typically don't make you calm, but for some reason it's invigorating for them and they feel alive when they're in that space. And feeling alive is actually calming to them versus a mundane, everything's monochromatic. And then for some people, they want it all monochromatic. That's what's calming for them. So I say, go into different spaces, go on old house tours, or go to different friends' houses that have a lot of different tastes and say, how do I feel in each space? Like a lot of times when I meet with clients or just talk to friends, we don't take the time to really even understand how we feel where we are, how our surroundings affect us, right? And so, first step, understand how your surroundings affect you. And usually, for a typical client, creating that calm comes from a place of a mixture of organization first. Like most people, when there's chaos happening in their home, organizationally, they struggle to have calm in their emotions, calm in their brains, calm in their heart. And so I usually say that's a great place to start is purging, organizing, decluttering. But then when we're talking about from a design perspective, there's this newer trend word called biophilic design. And that basically is a fancy way of saying it's we bring nature inside.
Mm.
And by that, I mean, if you live in a space where people aren't close to your windows, why are you putting curtains on them? Like leave it open. Let the natural light come in as much as possible. Don't close that out. It means as long as there's not an allergy or reason why you couldn't incorporate natural plants so that you have nature kind of coming into the home. Skip on more of like a laminate countertop and instead go with a natural stone. So you have those stone elements. Go with hardwood floor if you can versus just going with plastic linoleum, let's say, or LVP. And so we're layering not only the textures within our homes, but then the accents on top of it. So more natural linens and texturally soft blankets. All of those things are really soothing when you're talking about design. And it's something we weigh heavily in the trauma-informed spaces or the dignified designs, a little bit more in the trauma, but it's very what colors are soothing, what fabrics are soothing, how do we bring enough of both that feels comforting and focus on it in that way.
I love this. This is amazing. Uh,
Thank you.
there's something I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Perfect.
Um, okay. So, are you familiar with harmonic resonance?
In the music world, oh, it's been a while since I'm a pianist,
Oh,
and I feel like that we talked about in school, but please break it down. What are you thinking?
so harmonic resonance has everything to do with energy and the way energy aligns with, say, the body, the mind
Okay.
and the body, the way the body interacts with its surroundings, creating a harmonious environment using frequencies, using some people might call it spirituality, um, and uh, you're dealing with nature, as you say, sound and things of that nature. Uh, it's amazing to see how your environment will cause you to resonate in a higher frequency.
It's so true. Yeah. I don't know all the technical, like which I know different fabrics have different, what are they called? I'm lost the words, but like frequency. The fabrics have different frequencies, even those alone. I don't have them memorized to tell you like which are more and which have less, but I believe it's cotton has like a lower frequency, linens. Polyester, I believe is very high. So yes, I'm familiar with it in the fabric space. And I agree that you have to be very mindful of that in a space, and it does. And even just the sounds within it, like we can make a beautiful space, but if you have something, for instance, like the other day I noticed I was feeling a little off in one of my rooms, and I realized I have this air purifier that had this buzz that just I hadn't noticed until I took time to go like, why do I feel a little off? I'm like, oh, because it's buzzing louder than I normal, and I had to mess with it a little bit. I'm like, there it is. Like even something as subtle as that really does affect your mind and your mood. But so many people are rushing through life that they're not really taking the time to think about that. And so, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from now. And yes, see that for sure.
You're hitting on some solid points. There's this rush, rush, rush. I'm gonna throw another curveball at you, and it's about. I'm gonna use the reverse. So the lack of intentionality. Uh, we we rush so much in life, we don't pay attention to what's going on around us. Our
Yeah.
surroundings cause us to have issues. Our I love the environmental piece. You go into, I've worked in a lot of clinics and hospitals and stuff. And
Mhm.
sadly to say, I've divorced myself from those particular places because of what you're saying. You go into any doctor's office, automatically your blood pressure goes up.
Yeah, it's
Automatically
true.
you're, you become nervous and da 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 da. If you're going into a psychiatrist's office or therapist office or wherever, people people tend to resonate to that environment in a negative way. I'm super curious now how you would benefit those professions just by coming in and redesigning their space.
Yeah, I think it's something that should be talked about way more than it is. I did a lot of the furniture design for a cancer center that was added on or extended, I probably would say, in a local hospital. And we did a lot of repurposed furniture. And we did a lot of like um, tones that were soothing and colors that were soothing. And man, could you feel the difference? Like people came into those spaces and they felt like they were in a comfortable home, not in a sterile, like serious space where that doesn't promote healing. That promotes like I'm in a spot where people die. Like I know that sounds terrible, but that's I think how people felt in this space.
Now,
And yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry, I just cut you off. I apologize.
No, you're good.
I'm thinking too fast, but Dr. Maya Angelou said it like this. She says that words are things, and when you say words, they tend to stick to the furniture, to the walls, and things like that. And so when you're talking about your spaces that you create, in my mind, I'm thinking about Dr. Maya Angelou, the great, poet and writer and playwright, and how she articulated how words can really stick to things and create this type of resonance when you create wonderful spaces. How does that feel in your body and in your mind once you've created them?
To me, I'm always looking for a creative energy or a calm. And it
Mm,
depends on what I want the room to have, right? I really picked up on this a while back where within about a week span, three different friends called me and said, I'm really struggling with a few things. Can I come spend time at your house? And I said, I'm not at my house, but you're welcome to go to my house. And they're like, it doesn't even matter if you're home. We just feel peace when we're at your house. And I thought, there it is. There's the difference. I'm creating these almost what I would call sacred spaces where you really can reset, relax, and it's been carefully curated in a way that brings about those emotions and that clarity of mind because your mind's not confused by the symmetry. It's not overly stimulated by the fact that things are mismatched or disorganized or not thought about. And whether you're a designer or not, your body can tell. I think your body can tell that. And so when it's in a space that feels like all of those parts of it have been thought through, it has this like effect, this
mm,
relaxing, like I can let go here. I don't have to think about. And I think that can happen too on the extreme of like a design that's so, I don't want to say high end because I don't think that's the right way of saying it, but it's almost so uptight you couldn't relax there either.
Hmm.
And I get a lot of clients saying that, and I'm like, can I create those spaces? Yeah. Do I want to? Not so much. Like that's not really my heartbeat. I'm much more passionate about creating calm, peaceful spaces or energetic, exciting, creatively inspiring spaces. Um, but not necessarily the kind where you can't, it feels unreachable or it feels too stuffy because it's too perfect.
Oh, I like that. That too perfect piece resonates with me. There are lots of homes, lots of designers, I'm sure, that create those perfect places,
Mhm.
but they lack so much.
Yeah.
They,
And even in the photography of the spaces, I was at a design camp last 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about that, how every designer that we're seeing is trying to photograph places that basically look like an AI image. And it doesn't even look lived in. Like one of the things I like a lot about European design is you'll see a kitchen and the toaster's out and the mug's on the counter and it looks lived in. And I think, yeah, that to me feels more what home would really look like. Like I don't mind when there's things like that out. And I think that's an important part of a space is do you still like it when it's not empty counters and empty everything? Like how do we make it feel approachable but still organized and peaceful?
I, I, I like that. When you have certain people, and I know certain people are more in tune
Hmm.
to their environments than others. I think maybe
Yeah.
some people, I don't know what you think about it, but they lack awareness, and some people are hyper aware.
I
And
would say, and some people can get from one to the other. Like I would say me 5 years ago, I was not aware at all.
mm,
It takes time to, and you have to want to be aware, I think.
mm,
Most people, like some people are naturally attuned, but I would say a lot of them, they've been so wired. A lot of us have been so wired to just keep pushing. Doesn't matter how you feel, get this done because we have to. Versus like, when do we reset? When do we pause? When do we bring our beta brain waves down enough to actually relax? Like we're at such a high brain wave function all the time. It's not even healthy. Like I did a silent meditation retreat a month or so ago where we did, breath work and sound baths and walk through nature with no talking to anyone at all. And man, was that good for my soul. It makes you very aware of your surroundings and what it feels like to actually just be in tune with your body and creation. And it's just, I feel like if we have no time to do, if we've made, I shouldn't say we don't have it, if we've made no time to intentionally be aware of that, our bodies are less attuned to everything in general because we're just in the push through mode. We're not in the how is this affecting me mindset.
I like that. One of the key things that I do when I have, therapy clients, it, I diagram a lot of things because people are just totally unaware of what's going on in their bodies and their minds and their histories and da da da. And so one of the things that I try to get them to do eventually is to tune in,
Yeah,
right? Because what you're saying is that we've learned how to tune out.
right.
That's why
What do you tell them are helpful ways to help tune in? Like you're the pro in the therapy world.
mindfulness meditation is a big one.
Okay,
Grounding is huge. Take your shoes off, stick your toes in the sand, that kind of thing. Uh, and hug a tree, for goodness sakes. Barefoot, toes in the ground, in the sand. Just give it a big old bear hug, and not in a rush. Take your time. Let
right.
let that vibration, let the tree take your energy from you, because we carry a lot of those negative ions and things that we pick up from places that we go to. I believe we pick up things just by being in spaces, going to those sterile environments that are toxic, and we pick those up and they stick with us.
Hmm.
So to get rid of those, we need to ground. We need to, go to the beach and stick our toes in the sand and just be. And a lot of times in therapy, I found out that people don't do that. They're running around in their cars and they're running from here to there with their kids and so forth, and they lose themselves.
Yeah, I could see that. Do you think grounding sheets work? Have you ever seen those?
No, I'm curious.
Okay. Like I no, I don't know. I've never had them, but I've heard people talk about them, so I was just curious your thought on it.
Actually, I think I know what you mean. Like those mats.
Yeah, they ground you to yeah, there's like a plug and there's sheets that like are supposed to be grounding.
I've got one.
Do you
I,
think it works?
I think it does work. I've got one at home, and I plug it up and I sit on it. I lay on it. When I worked in the classroom, I would plug it up, sit on it at my desk.
Okay.
I believe it does work.
Okay. I was
And
just curious.
yes, it's really interesting. It's subtle, but it works. I think that is able, those grounding mats, and if you can ground in the earth, that's much, much better.
Right.
That you can probably cure a lot of ailments in the body just by grounding. Your body resonates with your environment. So I've had personal experience with that just by going outside, sticking my because I live on an island, so I could just go and sit on the beach for a while, soak up
What island do you live on?
Galveston Island in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. I
Yes.
I was just in Austin last a
What?
couple weeks ago. Yeah,
Man, yeah, it's a subtropical island. We've got parakeets and falcons and all kinds of stuff down here. It's a
that's
really
fun.
cool place. And you could just sit on the beach and just soak up the rays and feel better. My blood pressure has dropped just by being on the beach. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it works. I think we neglect ourselves. I love the tones that you have in your kitchen.
Thank you.
For me, they're very inviting. It's like I want to come and sit there. Um, do you have those experiences with other spaces that you create?
Yeah, definitely. I was just telling my design client today, actually, I our kitchen's a decent size, and we just had a chili cook-off at our house over the weekend, and we had so many people, and they just stayed in the kitchen. I'm like, guys, we have a whole house. I have a dining room table over here. But everyone kind of is very drawn to the kitchen, and I think it's that mixture of I have soapstone, I have beautiful tiling. All the windows are left exposed. I have no curtains on them. So it feels like you're in a snow globe in the winter because all around you when the snow is falling and you're sitting in the middle of this warm, cozy kitchen eating yummy food and chatting with people, to me it feels almost like magical. I just love it. I love our kitchen so much. So yes, I definitely think so. Where I don't know if you can see behind me over here, but that's my living room, my formal living room. And that's more of like a darker, deeper, moody tones, like dark teals and black and golds and things like that. Because I want that space to feel a little bit more cave-like when you're with people and just want to like hunker down and chat and have intimate conversations. That's the room for that, you know?
Oh yeah. If thinking about your kitchen and thinking about when I grew up with my siblings, where our favorite place in the house was?
Where?
The kitchen. W- w-
Yeah,
We would do just what you're saying. We would gather in the kitchen in that area where you would have the dining room table. That was our favorite little nook, and we had a whole house to hang out in. But that's where the most meaningful, I think, interactions happened in that house. Very
yeah. That's how many siblings did you have?
five,
Oh, wow. Look at
all
that.
boys, by the way.
All boys.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm tired for your mom.
yeah. Mom was a trooper. She was tough.
I guess so. That's sounds like a full schedule to me right there.
but she had something, I think maybe mom tapped into some of this that you're talking about because she was forward thinking also, but she had a lot of greenery in her home,
Mm,
a
yeah.
lot of plants
Yeah.
and things like that. Do you find those make a difference in the room?
I mean, it helps with that air quality for sure. And I think it helps because that's all part of the biophilic design idea is just as much nature in the space as we can. Wood tones, natural live edge wood tones and the plants and even lighting that has rattan or, just bringing in more natural tones and accents. But I have a lot of plants in my house. I love them. I feel like they're very comforting.
Mhm.
And when you see life around you, it just, I don't know, to me, it feels good. I like it.
Do you talk to your plants?
Well, probably only when it dies. What
Oh,
are you doing? Come back to me. I don't, outside of that, I don't think I do. So, how about you? Do you talk to your plants?
I don't, but my mother was a wonderful florist, and she would have the most beautiful plants on her patio inside the house and all that, an oasis really, and everyone would ask her. Her name was Irma Jean. Wow, I can't grow my plants like you. And she would talk to I. She would sing to her plants,
Get it, girl.
and
Well, who
then,
else is she singing to with five boys?
of course, yeah. Oh yeah, and it was like, wow, these plants are healthy and they were vibrant and stuff. I think spaces might have that same type of interesting quality to them because I've noticed, if you notice, like houses when they're left abandoned or neglected, they tend to fall apart, I think.
Hmm.
And maybe they have some type of resonance too, uh, getting life from us, maybe. I don't know. I'm reaching, but it's just something I've noticed.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about it that way.
yeah. It's like your kitchen is giving life to everyone that passes through it. But at the same time, you're giving your kitchen life by passing through it.
Right? Right? I could see where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah, by being in that space might be why people love it so much.
Definitely. I could see that.
Yeah, something to think about. I used to work with autistic kids a lot, and they were really interesting because they responded positively or negatively to spaces and to people. And there are certain spaces that gave them comfort, and there are certain spaces that caused them to have meltdowns.
Hmm. And it was probably very different depending on the child, right? Like each
Oh,
one. Yeah.
very individualized.
Yeah. That makes
Very,
sense.
and it's very interesting. You mentioned calm because a lot of those, especially high functioning people on the spectrum, um, they have a hard time with their emotions, and regaining calm is big time important for them because if when they decompensate, they melt down.
Right. Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
kind of hard to, you know, keep from doing that, and they do, I think, well at managing their environments in ways that maybe a lot of people don't get. So I like what you're doing. I'm excited. I really want you to be able to redecorate every doctor's office in America. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
My hope is that everybody listens to this podcast and they realize, hmm, I need her. I need her right now.
That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, we do virtual design consults, so even if they're not from this area, I can help them from afar as well. So, um, but I think sometimes we don't think about so many people maybe listening own a commercial space or are a doctor or something like that, and they don't take it into consideration too much. And they might care that it looks pretty and they hired someone to make it look pretty, but um, the other side of it, I think is important. And, one of the things we didn't talk about, but the trauma informed or the dignified spaces, are we caring about how people feel when they walk into a space that is there to support them in one of the most vulnerable times of their lives? So, for instance, like regional food banks, a lot of times when you go into a food bank, it feels kind of, I don't know, just metal shelves, concrete floor, and white walls or gray walls. And I obviously non-for-profits start out of usually beautiful hearts, right? Like people want to help people and budgets are tight and they're doing their best with what they can. But I think there's a way that designers can come alongside of non-for-profits and say, how do we create a space where our clientele feel dignified even in this time? And then how do we get our donors to kind of see the impact that those spaces make and partner together? And even if it's like we put a list together of supplies or of furniture that's needed and we say, hey donor, can you order this and have it shipped here? And then they feel like part of the process. They get to see the transformation come together. And that's part of what we did for the homeless shelter.
Mm.
And I think that's really important because it also gets the community involved in the transformation. And then as people come into those spaces, they do feel so much more valued, I would say. So I was just talking to one non-for-profit about they make wigs and other things for women with cancer. And I said, well, what's the space where they try on the wigs or where they come in to order the wigs? And they're like, oh, it's just like a closet, basically. Like it's nothing, like we don't really think. I'm like, okay, how can we, that's a really traumatic time in their life, right? Cutting off all your hair and needing to get a wig and going through cancer treatments. So how do we create an environment around them that feels more comforting? And so that would be my challenge to anyone listening. If you do own a non-for-profit or a business that services people, especially vulnerable or hurting people, how do we partner together to bring them up in their time of need as well, emotionally, based on just design? You know, there's so many other services that we have thought about, which is great, but I think sometimes we just forget about the design side.
You're right. And I'm guilty of not really realizing, and I should know it, but uh, how important that design is to a space. We care about our homes being designed a certain way, but these public venues, these spaces, they are sterile. They have these spaces that I'm gonna say they don't feel like they should even be like lived in.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even like my therapist's office, it's so bad. It's like a couch from the 70s with nasty carpet, walls that are just depressing in color. And I think, just let me at this. Like, I want to feel inspired when I get here. I don't want to feel like I'm in the corner of something that needs to be, completely redone. And maybe it's because I'm a designer, so I think about that a lot. Like, did I pick a gym because they had barn doors and it was cute? Yes, I did. So maybe I'm an extreme in this case, but I feel like, therapy is a place where you're talking through hard things. That's why you're there. So, like, how does the environment of that kind of help us into it? One design client I have right now, she owns a law firm where she does primarily divorces. And she was very mindful of the environment of the space because of how hard it is to walk in her office. And
Mhm.
she let me create some of the most beautiful commercial spaces um, with wonderful colors, invigorating, inspiring kind of concepts within each space. And man, she says it's like what she gets complimented on the most. Like you're a law firm that actually took time to care about the design and how it feels when we walk in. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's important.
And that is very important. And I really like that you're dedicated to this effort. It's needed, not paid attention to. I think awareness is huge. To quote Dr. Maya Angelou again, when we know better, we do better.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I hope and pray that everybody that hears this uh, episode learns from it and does better in their own personal spaces and in their spaces where they live and thrive, even classrooms. You know,
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
teachers who actually make their spaces very inviting by doing what you say, although
Yeah.
very difficult to do in those situations. But they do, and that those children tend to thrive more. You know, they learn better in those spaces.
Yep. Yeah. I at one point was hoping to bring someone on who knew, but something personally happened and she couldn't come on staff. But that was what she wanted her goal to be, was to get grant funding for classrooms and then get the kids and the teachers like together in creating spaces more like what we're talking about,
Oh no,
because it is so needed. I walk through my kids' school and sometimes I'm like, I feel like it looks like a prison. I've never been there, but I imagine it looking like that's what a prison looks like just this concrete walls, all the same color, kind of run down, bathrooms that were done in the 80s. Like, I just feel like, wow, of course we struggle with mental health crisis, many reasons, but I would be depressed if I was in this every day, all day. I would.
and
Um,
you do have kids these days, I think, that are more in tune than we were.
Agreed. 100%. My daughter's way more attuned than I ever was. Yeah, like on so many levels. Not even just the environment, but like just so the other day she was kind of being snippy like teenage girls are sometimes. And she left. I said, I think you just need some alone time to like kind of think through why you're talking the way you're talking. She came back, she goes, I've been being bullied at school and I didn't want to talk about it, but I think I'm being mean to you because they've been mean to me. And I'm just like, oozing that from me basically. And I was like, no, this is good. Like you took time to recognize what's happening and then why you think that might be happening. And let's talk through it. Like, how do we work through that? I would have never had the emotional awareness to do that when I was a teenager. No way. I would
No,
just be like, you're all annoying. I would not have had that awareness at all.
no, I know I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't even lie
That's
to myself. My daughter, I've got a 16-year-old, and she's
me too.
oh really? I think
Yeah.
I think you interact with her on the email chain a while back, and it's funny because there's some things that she says and does, and I'm thinking, huh, would I have said that? No,
Right.
has rationale, and there's some things that you want to argue, but you don't have any ammunition. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm like, there, she is really emotionally mature for her age, for
mm,
sure. Grateful for.
I think this has been a great conversation. I'm excited.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I thanks for reaching out through your publicist. And I just want to say, how do you how do people get in touch with you? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So they can head to my website, which is funcycled.com. So it's FUNCYCLED.com. On there, they'll see my blog has all different tutorials on how to do DIY or design inspiration with links to products that we recommend. And there's also free resources on there. So it's definitely a spot to look. They can, but if they want a virtual design consult, they can go there as well, and I can help them from anywhere. And then if they prefer social, I'm on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all on on the handle FunCycled. So they can find me that way, probably easiest.
awesome. I'm excited. You know, it's been a blessing. I enjoyed this conversation. It's been
Me
very,
too.
and I hope to do it in the future. Pretty amazing. And I'll
Thank
put
you.
everything in the description so people will be able to get a hold of you. Uh,
Perfect.
thrilled, thrilled, thrilled. Long time coming, but well worth the wait.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Be blessed. Everyone, have a great day.